It wasn't just the workplace. Friends, family, society, everyone reacted differently. Some were shocked, some curious, some openly supportive. I discovered communities online, full of people who had walked similar journeys, people who taught me the nuances of fashion, voice, posture, even makeup. Each interaction taught me more about myself, about courage, about acceptance. And with every small step, I embraced it more. I started creating my own style, blending cute and chic with what felt natural. Accessories, hairstyles, skirts, cute tops. I found joy in curating my identity. Even mornings, once rushed and monotonous, became moments of ritual and self-expression. The mirror, once a source of panic, became a sanctuary. I looked at myself now with love, with pride, with confidence. Every curve, every feature, every expression told a story of someone who had dared to step into themselves fully, and survived, thrived, and flourished. The climax of my transformation wasn't marked by a single event, but a series of moments. The first time I confidently walked down the street without glancing nervously at reflections. The first time a friend complimented me without flinching, without the old awkwardness. The first time I felt powerful simply by being myself. I realized that what had started as a dare had unveiled something deeper, a part of me I had never dared to explore. And the best part? It wasn't just about the clothes or makeup or appearance. It was about authenticity. Every choice I made, every outfit, every accessory, every smile, was mine. Not a dare, not a joke, not a fleeting experiment. Mine. Now, months later, I can't imagine going back. I've embraced my identity fully, walked confidently in heels, experimented endlessly with style, and connected with people who see me for who I truly am. The world is still a challenge sometimes, stares, whispers, occasional judgment, but I've learned to own it, to laugh, to smile, to thrive. The dare that changed my life didn't just make me a cute girl forever. It taught me courage, self-love, and the power of transformation. It showed me that sometimes, the scariest steps lead to the most beautiful destinations. I look in the mirror now and smile, tracing the curves of my cheeks, adjusting my hair, straightening a skirt. You're me, I whisper, softly, proudly. And you're perfect. And in that reflection, I see not just a girl, not just a body, not just a dare. I see a life transformed, a story rewritten, and a soul fully awakened. Sometimes, I still think back to that night, the laughter, the dare, the thrill. And I realize, it wasn't the dare that changed me. It was me. Choosing, accepting, daring myself to be who I truly am. And now, there's no going back. There's only forward, into this beautiful, vibrant, authentic life I get to call my own. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything. After the first few weeks, I started to realize something terrifying and exhilarating. This wasn't just a temporary phase. My body, my reflection, my very presence, was changing in ways I hadn't anticipated. It wasn't subtle anymore. My shoulders were narrower, my waist softer, and even the way I walked had an almost automatic sway. My voice had a natural lilting tone now, one that startled me every time I caught it on a voicemail or video call. At first, I panicked. "This is insane," I whispered one morning, looking in the mirror as sunlight poured through my window. My hands trembled as I touched my face. My lips were fuller, my eyes wider, and my jaw, softer. My reflection wasn't mine anymore. It belonged to someone else, a girl I didn't recognize, yet somehow felt me. But alongside the fear came curiosity, a spark I couldn't ignore. If this was happening, maybe I could explore it. Maybe I should explore it. So I did the one thing I hadn't dared yet. I went outside. I started small. A walk to the corner store, wearing a simple pastel dress and flats. My heart pounded as I stepped onto the sidewalk, every passing car and pedestrian feeling like a spotlight. People stared. Not maliciously, just curious. Some even smiled. My chest tightened, not from anxiety, but anticipation. Inside the store, the fluorescent lights felt harsh, highlighting every detail I hadn't noticed before. My hands shook as I picked up a candy bar. I heard whispers behind me, quick glances, and I froze for a second, but then I remembered the private nights in my room. All the hours of practice, all the tiny experiments with voice, posture, and makeup. I straightened my back, lifted my chin, and smiled softly. "Hi," I said, my voice lighter than ever, yet natural. The cashier blinked. "Hey, "You look nice," she said, and I felt a thrill rush through me. My reflection in the glass door as I left made me stop dead. I wasn't hiding anymore. I wasn't pretending. This, me, was real. The thrill of these small victories fueled something bigger. I started going out more. Cafes, parks, even small social gatherings. At first, I felt every gaze like a weight pressing down on me. But slowly, something shifted. I noticed that the more I owned my appearance, the less the world seemed threatening. People smiled, complimented, sometimes even flirted. And with each interaction, my confidence grew. One afternoon, I went shopping for clothes, a full makeover mission. Skirts, dresses, tops, accessories, shoes. I tried everything. I twirled in the changing room, spinning until the fabric hugged my body perfectly, and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. My reflection smiled back. Not the tentative, nervous smile from weeks ago. This one was confident, proud, alive. I whispered under my breath, "Yeah, this is me." Of course, it wasn't all easy. Not everyone reacted kindly. Some friends couldn't handle the change. Texts from old buddies came in, jokes that weren't funny anymore. "Dude, what's happening to you?" one read. Another, "Are you seriously gonna go full girl now?" Some days, their words stung worse than the awkward stares of strangers. I wanted to retreat, hide in my room, curl up in my old identity like it was a blanket. But every time I thought about hiding, I remembered the private nights when I first explored my reflection, the hours practicing my voice and posture. I remembered the rush of stepping outside, of owning my presence, even when the world blinked in surprise. And slowly, I realized hiding wasn't an option. Not anymore. Then came the big test, a weekend trip with my closest friends. They knew me before, the old me, the confident, cocky guy. They were used to joking, teasing, casual hangouts. How would they react to the girl standing in front of them now? Heels clicking, makeup flawless, hair cascading in perfect waves. I arrived, nervous, heart racing. "You look different," one friend said, and I laughed nervously. "Yeah, different good?" I asked. "Different good," he replied, a smile tugging at the corners of his lips. We spent the day hiking, eating at a cafe, wandering through the city. Every glance from strangers, every whisper, every compliment I received made my stomach flutter. I felt like I was living a double life, the old me silently in the back of my mind, observing, and the new me fully alive, daring, and radiant. By the evening, something incredible happened. My friends, laughing over dinner, included me as myself. They joked, teased, but in a way that felt accepting. They didn't try to pull me back to the old me, they accepted the new me. And in that moment, I felt it for the first time. I wasn't just surviving this transformation. I was thriving. But the public exploration came with risks. One evening, while walking home after meeting someone new, I was approached by someone on the street. At first, I panicked. My mind raced with fear of confrontation. But the person smiled politely, complimented my outfit, and walked away. Relief washed over me, but also a strange, thrilling sense of power. I could navigate the world like this. I could exist like this. Back at home, the private experimentation didn't stop. I delved deeper into makeup, hair, and fashion. I tried bold lipstick shades, intricate hairstyles, skirts I never thought I'd wear. I experimented with voice modulation, the subtle lilt in a question, the playful inflection in a joke. My reflection became a partner in exploration, not a source of fear. And then I noticed something else. My mindset was shifting too. I no longer saw myself as the guy who became a girl. I saw myself as me. Confident, playful, curious, daring, empowered. Every step, every glance, every compliment reinforced that identity. The old me wasn't gone. He existed as a memory, a contrast that made my present shine brighter. Conflict arose when my parents visited unexpectedly. I froze. Panic gripped me. How could I face them like this? My carefully curated public self, my confident persona, felt fragile under the weight of family expectations. They walked in, eyes widening. I braced for questions, shock, anger. Instead, they smiled. My mom tilted her head, examining me. "You look beautiful," she said softly. "You seem happy." And in that moment, tears sprang to my eyes. Not from fear, but relief, acceptance, and love. They didn't understand everything, but they accepted me. And that was enough. Part 2 of my journey was about balance, mastering the art of blending old life and new, public exposure and private experimentation, fear and thrill. I learned to laugh at myself, to relish compliments, to navigate stairs without shame. I explored, experimented, and slowly, deliberately, transformed my life into something that felt authentic and exhilarating. The most shocking revelation wasn't physical, it was emotional. I realized that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's stepping forward despite it. And I was stepping forward every day. My heart, my mind, my reflection, they were all aligned, synchronized, alive. Part 2 ends with me standing in front of the mirror one late night, hair cascading over my shoulders, a playful smile on my lips, soft candlelight reflecting in my eyes. I twirl slowly in a delicate skirt, taking in every curve, every detail, every transformation. This is me, I whisper, voice soft but confident. And I'm not going back. And for the first time, I truly believe it. Life had settled into a rhythm of experimentation, cautious public outings, and small victories. I felt more like myself than ever, yet there was an unspoken tension lurking beneath the surface, a reminder that not everyone in my life had accepted this new me. The true test came unexpectedly. My company announced a weekend team-building retreat. Attendance wasn't optional. My stomach sank. I had navigated cafes, parks, and casual outings as myself, but this was a 3-day trip with colleagues who knew me as the old me, the confident guy. I spent the night before obsessing over my outfit, trying dresses, heels, experimenting with makeup. I wanted to look confident, polished, but not overdone. I settled on a soft lavender dress, a gentle shimmer on my eyelids, and hair cascading in loose waves. My reflection looked back at me with something I hadn't seen in weeks, pure determination. The first morning was brutal. I arrived at the retreat location, heart hammering in my chest. Colleagues turned, eyes widening. I froze, gripping my bag tightly. A few whispered, exchanged glances. I could hear the subtle questions forming. Is that him? Wow, you look different, my team lead said, voice careful. Different good? I asked, forcing a nervous smile. He nodded slowly. Yeah, different good. The rest of the morning was a blur. Icebreaker games, trust falls, group discussions, all under the weight of dozens of glances, muted whispers, and suppressed giggles. Every step, every gesture felt exaggerated. I caught myself walking too slowly, then correcting, then realizing. I didn't have to correct. This was me. The person staring back in mirrors, the girl I had grown into, deserved to exist fully here too. By midday, my anxiety hit a peak. During a group lunch, a coworker, someone I had always considered friendly, asked bluntly, "Are you really going to do this? Dress like this, all the time?" The words cut through me. My chest tightened. My hands shook slightly as I set down my fork. Inside, I felt that old familiar fear creeping back. The part of me that worried about judgment, ridicule, rejection. But then, something clicked. I looked around the table. Faces curious, some supportive, some unsure. And I realized, hiding wasn't an option. Not here, not anywhere. I am me, I said, voice steady, soft but firm. This isn't temporary. This is who I am now. Silence. Then, a few nods. A couple of awkward smiles. And, surprisingly, a wave of acceptance from others who had only been watching. The retreat escalated into evening activities, campfires, storytelling, and games that encouraged vulnerability. Each interaction tested me. Every laugh, every glance, every handshake felt magnified. But by this point, I had learned a critical truth. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward despite it. A small victory came when one of my coworkers, the same one who had questioned me, approached quietly. "Hey. I just wanted to say, I admire how confident you're being," she said, softly, looking me in the eyes. "It takes courage." My chest swelled. I nodded, unable to form words at first. "Thank you, that means a lot." For the first time in public, surrounded by people who knew me before, I felt truly seen, not just noticed, but acknowledged. The real challenge hit the next day. A scheduled presentation meant standing in front of the entire team. I had to speak, lead, and participate fully as myself. I was terrified. My heels felt higher, my hands trembled, and my voice might betray me. As I stepped onto the stage, dozens of eyes locked onto me. Whispers cut through the air like sharp edges. My stomach knotted. For a moment, the old fear threatened to paralyze me. But then I took a breath. I remembered every private night of practice, every moment of self-discovery, every time I had stood tall in public despite the risk. I straightened my back, lifted my chin, and began. The words flowed. Confident, natural, unforced. The team listened. Some shifted in surprise, some smiled, some nodded. I finished the presentation to polite applause. But the victory wasn't in their claps, it was in the mirror of my own mind. I had faced judgment, fear, and doubt, and I had emerged fully myself. That evening, the retreat ended with a bonfire, the flames dancing across the night sky. I sat quietly, reflecting on the last few months, the dare, the transformation, the sleepless nights of self-experimentation, the public outings, and now, acceptance. I realized something profound. Transformation isn't just physical. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual. I had dared to step into a world that terrified me, and in doing so, I discovered courage I never knew I possessed. One of my colleagues, someone who had watched silently all weekend, came over. "You've changed, and it's incredible. I can see you're really happy," she said. I smiled, the warmth spreading through me. "Yeah, I am. And I think I finally feel at home in my own skin." The final test came on the drive home. I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror. Long hair falling perfectly, soft smile, eyes wide and expressive. I whispered to myself, voice steady, confident. "This is me. All of me. No compromises. No apologies. No fear." And in that moment, I realized something life-changing. The dare that had started it all didn't trap me. It freed me. It gave me permission to explore, to grow, to become the person I had always been inside but never dared to show. I was no longer hiding. I was living. Fully. Completely. Beautifully. Part 3 ends with that realization, the climax of conflict, fear, and public exposure. The protagonist has faced judgment, internalized fear, and societal pressure, and emerges empowered, authentic, and ready for life as her true self.